Whenever you start a new job, especially an elevated position compared to your last job, you're going to go through some growing pains where you're going to start out making inevitable mistakes, but over time, you get better and better before you become, let's say, an expert at your craft. Kevin O'Connell, when he got hired, the thought was, first off, he's coming from the Sean McVay coaching tree. And if he can bring 10%, maybe even 15% of what he learned under McVay over to Minnesota, oh, this is going to be great for this organization. That championship year that they had, the way they used Cooper Cup getting the triple crown, they can use Justin Jefferson in the same way. He plays outside and inside. The ultimate versatile receiver, the best receiver in the league. Bring that knowledge, use it for this offense. This is an offensive minded head coach. Everything's going to turn out great. But on top of that, being the antithesis of Mike Zimmer, understanding the value in building up positive relationships, being a bright energy. Hell, walking down the hallway and instead of ignoring them, like Mike Zimmer did, saying hi to the players, Brian O'Neill. I knew that would be the first thing. I'm like, Brian O'Neill's definitely going to like this guy. But 3.5 years in, those initial mistakes made his first year have remained constant up to the very present. And I thought we were getting away from the Zimmer-like era, but it turns out KOC is nothing more than the nicer version of Mike Zimmer. Completely unprepared for big games, stubborn, set in their own ways, doesn't coach to the personnel, he coaches his system, and damn it, every square peg is going to fit in those round holes. 4th and 8, 2022 in the playoffs, looking at that play like, why is your second best playmaker at the time, TJ Hawkinson, well short of the sticks? He needs to be past the sticks along with Justin Jefferson. Well, now we look at the game last night. What were you doing, KOC? What was going through your brain at the time? 3rd and 1. Okay? 3rd and 1. On the first possession, the ball is at about the 41-yard line on the Vikings side. It's 3rd and 1. Ball snaps, play action, bootlegs, pressure gets to Carson Wentz, and he has to throw up a prayer hoping that somebody can come down with it instead of just running the damn football. You got a power back in Jordan Mason. That's what I mean when I say he doesn't know what it is that he's doing. That play right there is the equivalent of 4th and 8. Just picking a random play out of a hat and hoping that it works out. And that's just the situational play calling. Then you get to the contradictions, i.e., earlier this week, JJ McCarthy, he's not going to be ready for the Chargers game. We want him to be 100% healthy. Fair enough. At the same time, last night, Carson Wentz was getting the hell beat out of him and multiple times was on the ground in clear agony, severe pain, and you played him through it longer than you should have. Max Brosmer should have been out there. Instead, I don't know if it's tradition or it's because you're stubborn. And when I say tradition, I mean how the third quarterback on the roster as the season starts, or in the case of a guy like Kyle Sloter, a guy that has talent that could potentially be a threat to your eventual starting quarterback in this case, or in the last case with Kyle Sloter, we're going to get Sean Mannion because we don't want any threats to Kirk Cousins. This case, with Max Brosmer having a hell of a preseason, you should have put Max Brosmer in beforehand, long before you ultimately did. But you know what? We don't, and I'm only taking a guess here, this is speculation, but we don't want any sort of threat to JJ McCarthy. So you're going to leave Carson Wentz out there getting his ish kicked in? Come on, be consistent. You want JJ McCarthy to be 100% healthy. Carson Wentz clearly not healthy, in agony, and you keep him in the game. Irresponsible. The fact is, in 3.5 years, you haven't changed. Nobody respects the Vikings. No other football team respects the Vikings. They are still a laughing stock. But hey, we've got the culture, if nothing else, consisting of gummy bears and Sesame Street. This video is brought to you by Sleeper. Daily fantasy players, new users, sign up for Sleeper and get a free $20 entry. No deposit required. If you do make a deposit, get a 100% match up to $100 using the promo code Randy. Terms and conditions do apply. Check out Sleeper today. And then you get to the irony, the full circle moment. Going back to after the firing of Mike Zimmer, going through the interview process for your next head coach, interviewing KOC, but also interviewing Jim Harbaugh. They had Jim Harbaugh in the building, and they said, you know what? I don't know if you're going to fit the culture here. And some of that maybe Jim Stapleton as well, according to earlier reports. But you just don't fit what it is that we're trying to establish here, culture-wise. And the full circle moment, because they chose you, KOC, the full circle moment is last night. KOC versus Jim Harbaugh. And Jim Harbaugh's team beat the hell out of KOC's team, because KOC's team is weak and soft. Jim Harbaugh's team, no matter where it is that he goes, they play football. They got dogs on that roster. And not to say that you don't have dogs on this roster, but the way that they play is a reflection of you, weak and soft, compared to dogs playing under Jim Harbaugh. It was a massive mistake choosing you, Kevin O'Connell, over Jim Harbaugh, because Jim Harbaugh doesn't F around. Football. All he cares about is football. And he's going to make the right adjustments. He's going to make changes if necessary. He's going to coach to his personnel, unlike you. Massive mistake. And I'm at the point now where KOC needs to be on the hot seat. I'm this close to saying KOC needs to be fired, but KOC needs to be on the hot seat. The last prayer that you have before everybody should be fired. And when I say everybody, the entire front office, the entire coaching staff, even Brian Flores with this weak ass defense. The only thing that's stopping me from saying that you're only saving grace, potentially, at this point, KOC, is JJ McCarthy. JJ McCarthy better be nothing short of a superstar quarterback. Because of all of these other flaws you have, JJ McCarthy better be a beast at the quarterback position. If he's not, everybody should be fired. I'm so sick of this shit. I saw it, 4 years ago in the playoffs, 4th and 8, and here we are. Last night, 3rd and 1, run the damn football. Or if you're going to call some doohickey play like that, then go for it on 4th down. They did neither. The fact is, this organization, more specifically this regime, has been a disgrace. Along with Donovan Jackson, who I do believe is going to be a really good player, the GM, Kwesi Adolfo-Mensah, has essentially one hit of a draft pick 4 years in, being Jordan Addison. You clearly have a head coach who is way in over his head, and that's putting it nicely, to where somehow, some way, it's a miracle that you haven't pissed off Justin Jefferson enough to where he wants out. And I feel like it's only a matter of time. You keep doing this same bullshit, he's going to eventually be like, I'm done. I was as professional as I could be. I could have been a diva receiver like everybody else. but I elected not to. And where did that get me? You're lucky as hell that he hasn't demanded a trade. The fact is, this regime would rather us, all of us, the organization and the fan base, all of us holding hands across the globe singing Kumbaya instead of doing what's necessary to win football games. All of these bums, every single one of you, needs to be on the hot seat. We'll see you next time.